they shared some experiences that they'd had with her and how meaningful those experiences were. And they got to say goodbye. They got to give her a last hug or a kiss. And she got to say goodbye to them and share what was in her heart around their friendship. We had lunch, and then we left there and we went back to June's retirement home room. Her daughters, their husbands, myself, a friend, a doctor, and 2 nurses. And she sat in the recliner, and she had opted for the experience called MAID, Medically Assisted in Death. And I felt very honored to be present for that experience. The doctor asked her one last time, "June, would you like me to medically assist you in death?" And without hesitation, she said yes. Now, there'd been some tears saying goodbye to her friends at the celebration of life, but she'd been quite calm until she started to say goodbye to each of us, and especially her daughters. And she said to them, "You've been the best daughters. Thank you." And then within 3 to 4 minutes, she made her transition. She was given a needle to put her to sleep, and then that was followed by medication to stop her heart and her breathing, and then one to make sure that it all worked, and she was gone. It was a gentle experience that she really wanted because of her worsening health condition. She was dealing with Parkinson's. So that day I went home and I just kind of chilled out because I just had a lot of thoughts going on as I had for the week before that. And my daughter came over and I was sharing with her that I had belonged to a group before she was born, so like 40 years ago, where the teacher in the group had taught us that if someone decides to leave life early, in other words, to commit suicide or maybe do this process, that they would have to come back to that same point in time and overcome that in another life experience. And I said to Jen, I'm trying to reconcile. I am there for people for whatever they decide to do. It's not for me to judge that. I want to be there to support it. And then she said to me, she said, "Mom, you teach that God is love, that God is energy, God doesn't judge." And it was like, oh, right. You see, I had that old idea that had become a belief system for me, and I just needed to be reminded, no, that is no longer true. That when I remember what unity teaches about God, then there's nothing to be sad about. The St. Paul Church, Catholic Church in Toronto, they have a husband's marriage seminar each week. And this particular week, Giuseppe was there, and the priest asked Giuseppe to share with the men what his success with a long-term marriage was, because he'd been married for 50 years. So Giuseppe, would you tell us, what have you been doing that allows you to live with the same woman for 50 years? So Giuseppe answered, "Well, I've been a kind to her. I've been spending the good money on her. And then for our 25th anniversary, I took her to Italy." And wow, the priest is like, "Giuseppe, wow, that's really impressive. You took her to Italy. That's great. Tell us, what are you going to do for her 50th anniversary?" And he responded, "I'm going to go pick her up." So what I'm thinking is that sometimes we put down truth when it's not convenient, right? We know what we know, and once you know it, you can't forget it. But we try and put it down at times so that we don't have to live the way we know is the truth about God and about our lives and spirituality. And then we pick it up later when it's convenient. So I'm asking us to not do that. To know God from the unity perspective and the understanding of who God is and can be for our lives. Because when we know God, we can make our decisions so much easier because they're made from a higher place. And we form our opinions from a higher place. And then know God, that we might walk that journey of letting go of the word God maybe we've been using it a lot, and so maybe just let it go as much. Now, occasionally. I know this isn't an easy thing to ask because our daily word is filled with God. Our Unity publications are filled with God. But if we can just think once in a while of switching out for divine mind, divine intelligence, divine love, then we'll be constantly reminding ourselves of who God is and not slipping back into our old ways. I'm wondering if this is the journey that you would like to walk with me. I certainly am setting an intention to do that. You will no doubt hear the word God from me, but my intention is to not use it as often because I think language is so important. We need to be clear and we need to be congruent with our teachings. And I know that, when we hear that word, we can go somewhere else. So we want to really become firm and see it. Do you have an identity crisis with the word God? Is there something going on for you that you really want to work through and understand God better? So let's take that into meditation.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So let's close our eyes and become comfortable in our seats. Do whatever it is that announces to your body that now it's time. I'm just going to move into a meditative process and be there for a few moments. We take a deep breath in and we let it out. Let our shoulders relax down. And so this idea of God, when you hear the word God, what comes up for you? Just let it show up on the screen of your mind. Let some words flow in. And compare those to the words that Unity puts to God. And let these words float on the screen of your mind. Divine love, cause, all that is, divine intelligence, and perhaps there are others that you use at times. So is there a matching up of those two? Or are there some areas where you could take a look this week at, what do I really think about God? What meaning have I given God? Do I still see a judging God? Or a God that I have to please? What's my idea of God? And then how can I shift that over to a more transformative, uplifting, powerful truth? That we are one with all that is. So let's just sit with that idea that I am one with all that is. Let's take a breath in, and on the in-breath, let's affirm God is. And on the out-breath, I am. Let's do that a few times. God is. I am. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you, Rev Lori, for that amazing message. It helps us to grow and expand, to hear new ways of thinking and being, and we'll take that forward as we go. It's a whole new way of sort of thinking, and it's nice to learn new things, put them in practice. Now it's our time for giving and receiving our tithes and offerings. Our unity principles teach us that we are one with divine source, and so we give not to source, but as source. Giving has been described as a spiritual practice of radical generosity, giving to what we wish to see flourish. Giving puts us in the flow of divine abundance. By the back door of the sanctuary, on the wall, you will find intention cards. These may also be placed in the offering bag. This week, our prayer angels will hold your intentions for what you want to achieve, either as a plan for your day or for your life. Now let us affirm our prosperity together by singing our offertory blessing.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Well, we have another one of our Unity originals for you. It's not brand new. We've done it before, but we like it, and hope you like it again. You can find all kinds of reasons to let go. There is always an excuse when you stub your toe. You can wrap yourself in pain if you choose, or you can get back up and put yourself to use. And so it is, and so it is. We can let life break us down, or we can resist. When troubles block our way, remember there's a brighter day. The sun will shine again, and so it is. It's a choice we get to make most every day. How will we deal with things that come our way? Go lift like a weeping willow, or stand strong like a mighty oak. Cry for sympathy, or go for gold. And And so it is, and so it is. We let life break us down, we resist. When troubles block our way, remember there's a brighter day. The sun will shine again, and so it is. Down on the bottom you'll find lots of lonely souls, people who will flinch at every blow. But pain is only passing, so keep reaching for the stars. And when trouble comes your way, just let it go. No one can guarantee an easy ride. Pain that comes our way can't be denied. We can let it beat us down, we can move to higher ground. Leave defeat behind and learn to fly. And so it is, and so it is. We let life break us down, we resist. When troubles block our way, remember there's a brighter day. The sun will shine again, and so it is. Oh, the sun will shine again, so it is.
Bless our offerings. So we are so grateful for the givers of these gifts, both those that are in the sanctuary, those offerings we receive in the mail, and those online. All the ways that people give enrich this community to be able to do what is ours to do, to transform lives. Transform lives. And so we are grateful. Amen. Amen. Okay, let's stand and sing.
Growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present is what we're made of. I choose love. We are all part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
You have an opportunity this week to think about your relationship with the Word God and your relationship with God. And to just ask yourself, are you caught up in maybe your childhood idea of God at times? And would shifting the languaging help you with that? To use divine love, all that is. Sometimes I use beloved I am. So whatever phrase, word that opens your heart, let that be the one that you find some peace with. And so there's some homework to do this week, and homework is that which brings you back to your heart. And so we pray our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds me. I am love. The power of God protects me. I am power. The presence of God watches over me. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. Yay.
Yay, God.
Spread the word of what unity can offer. Spread the word of the message that you heard. Spread the word of what it means in your life. Spread the word.